Hello, everyone. My name is Jordan. I'm the founder of Host Notion. The name may be changing soon. And we transform your Notion pages into websites. So the problem is that content management systems are still broken. It's 2020. We've got great ways to make beautiful websites, and we've got great editors, but we still fall back on drafting our blogs in Google Docs or Notion so we can collaborate and get feedback. And then we copy that into the CMS, which we then have to tweak before we can publish. At the same time, there's this product called Notion, which millions of people are now using to document their lives and build internal wikis for their companies. So what we're doing is something that sounds very simple today, but could be very big in the future, which is being able to create beautiful sites from your Notion pages. We provide everything you need to make this work as a website. A custom domain, so your users know who you are and know how to find you. And we make it fast and optimized for search engines and for mobile. We also provide you with analytics, so you know who your visitors are. And this is great, not just for personal websites. We're also having traction already with things like job boards, for your company support pages, for your landing pages for your business, and of course, virus trackers. And in this boring world of content management, there's something genuinely quite revolutionary about this. All your data is in one place, and your website is always up to date. This is the future of publishing. And so we believe that Notion is the new Office suite, and we'll have an ecosystem of other companies around it. And we're unlocking that content within Notion to be shared in the best way. We launched an early version of this just a month ago, and we've got very promising early signs. We've had 200 signups. We're at $150 recurring revenue. This month, we hope to launch the freemium version, which we hope will increase the virality of the product. And we've got a roadmap that takes us far beyond anything that Notion, the company, will be doing as we focus on this no code, no hassle CMS. A little bit about me. I'm an experienced tech founder. I've built and sold tech companies in the past. I started this just to scratch my own itch, but having seen that there's something so fundamentally good about it, I need to make it into a company. And so that is Host Notion. We turn Notion into websites. It is a fundamentally better way to publish. All your content is in one place. All your website is always up to date. We've got promising early signs, and we're now looking for more early users and for strategic investors for a small seed round later this year. Thanks.
First, a few comments. I don't like the name Host Notion. Notion is too close to nation, and there's nothing in the name that tells you what it will be. I think your exposition is clear in terms of delivery, but you've never quite explained what the product does or how it changes my life. So right now, I might write into a Word document and then put it into WordPress. I do this all the time. And then I have to go through a hassle. I know what that hassle is like. What the process, the physical motions of my body look like with your product, I don't have an understanding of. You need to make that super clear. And it sounds like there's two versions of the product. One is some mysterious method that allows me to move from one platform to another without having to tinker. That's wonderful. But then I wonder, well, do I have to tinker at all to get it to allow me to move things without tinkering? Like, do I need to say, oh, I'm moving from Word to, to WordPress, or what is it I need to do? And then there's a second exposition of the really big idea, this whole way to publish everything and have it on one place. And I don't know how the small and the large fit together, if they're the same thing, if they're a different thing. So let me ask you in the simplest possible terms, how does your product change the motions of my body?
Right. So lots of good points there. Host Notion was picked up as starting to sound like Host Nation. It is going to change to something else. That was why I was introduced otherwise. This is a great product for if you're already using Notion. So I use that for tracking what books I'm reading, for collecting together blog posts. I'm also using it with friends when we're collaborating and sort of creating documents. So it's already in Notion. And because Notion is such a great tool that I can lay out everything so beautifully, I actually just want to publish that instantly in the same format. So that's the simple version. which is you just write your notes as you are, and then it is automatically live on your website. You don't have to expose everything. You can choose which pages are public. And so that's probably the fundamental change. So maybe if you're already using WordPress, it's quite a transition. And this is perhaps where the second stage comes in, right? So I think Notion has great simplicity in making your standard content look beautiful. But if you want to put it into a different layout, like you have with Marginal Revolution, that's when it needs to be more of a CMS. And we need to be able to figure out a way of pulling out that content and exposing it to your blogging system. And that's where we think this might go.
But that you're parasitic on Notion isn't clear. But you also need an argument why your product is so good that I should switch to Notion. Because right now I publish on many platforms. I don't use Notion at all. I'm not familiar with it. And why do I need to be, in essence? Presumably it has other disadvantages. WordPress is slow and clunky, but it's been around forever. So I don't worry about having to change where my content is. Somehow, how all the different layers stack together, and what's the critical one fact that I need to think about to decide whether or not to adopt your product. Even with your new and better explanation, that still needs to be much clearer, I think. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. I am not attempting to get people to switch to Notion at this stage. I think that's too much of an ask. So however you're set up.
But implicitly it is your ask, right? If you're asking them to use your product.
Right. Eventually, yes. But that's not my first, my sort of entry point into this market are those people that already love Notion, have all their content there, and I'm just enabling them to do something that they really want to do. Long term, yeah, I think people will switch to Notion because it is a better product. But actually what I'm doing here isn't dependent purely on Notion. There's a whole host of new note-taking apps that I'd say like Google Docs, Evernote were like round one. This is now like there's Coda, Airtable, Notion, these things where you can link things together. They're really powerful. And that is, people are adopting those for various reasons. And then this is like the capability that can be added on top of that.
Last question, quick answer. How big can this possibly be?
I think quite large. So it is
specific. What does that mean?
I have not calculated that right now. So at this point, I'm charging a software as a service charge for hosting a website, and that market is large. I haven't looked it up, but big.
Okay, thank you very much.
I mean, if you compare this to something like Ghost or Webflow, these are both like potentially billion-dollar companies.
Okay, we now need to move on, but thank you very much. Enjoyed it.
Thank you.